Hello everybody, thanks for being here tonight. My name is Carly Lohan. I am the Program and Outreach Coordinator with the Southeastern Wind Coalition. Just as a little bit of background about our organization, we are a 501c3, so we're mainly funded by philanthropy, and our mission is to advocate for offshore and land-based wind and the economic development that comes along with that, but to also advocate for our utilities, residents, and ratepayers of the Southeast. So we like wind and we want to see wind, but we also want to know what is important to our stakeholders. And I am here to just give a very basic overview of offshore wind and how it works. If we're thinking about the offshore wind farm that is going to be off the coast of Brunswick County, we'll have a certain amount of wind turbines that use the wind to generate power. And what's unique about offshore wind compared to other generation technologies is we're not using a finite resource like coal or oil or gas. We are using the infinite resource of the wind, and that's what helps make it a renewable energy. Offshore wind helps to reduce carbon emissions, and it repays its carbon footprint in about 6 months, and all the energy that goes into producing the turbines in about 2 years. That power is converted to a higher voltage at an offshore substation that is associated with the project, and then it's brought onshore through cables that are either buried or laid on the seafloor, and then it's generally horizontally drilled to connect to an onshore substation where it's then converted to the appropriate voltage and brought to your businesses and homes. We can talk a little bit more with our BOEM folks, and we also have some developers in the room about what onshoring looks like. Again, we're still very early in the process, so that is still a long ways away, but great opportunity to ask questions today. And just to give a little bit of context about offshore wind, it's evolved a lot over recent years. When we're thinking about onshore wind turbines, they're about 466 feet, but when we're talking about the technology that's going to be used for offshore wind for the project off the coast here, we're talking about 12 to 14 megawatt turbines that are about 853 feet tall. The benefit of a larger turbine is that you can produce the same amount of energy in a smaller footprint, so it's more efficient. And again, my organization really focuses on the economic impact related to offshore wind, and North Carolina has a variety of factors that makes us a really great place for offshore wind to happen. We have the highest offshore wind resource potential on the East Coast and the 5th highest in the nation. The dark to light color shows wind speed or wind resource potential, and even though North Carolina doesn't have the highest wind speed necessarily in the entire country, we have a combination of factors. We have a really long coastline and a really shallow drop off the continental shelf, so that makes it really ideal for offshore wind and makes it very efficient. We've got a great manufacturing workforce, but while North Carolina does not have a lot of installed wind capacity, those red dots represent all of the active wind-related manufacturing. And as I was mentioning earlier to some folks, an offshore wind turbine has 8,000 components in it. Some of those components, like the blades and the towers, have to be manufactured and staged on the coast because they're large. You can't ship them down the highway and across the country, but all of those other components can be manufactured anywhere in the state. And what's really exciting is even though we only have 3 wind energy areas off the coast of North Carolina, there are lots and lots of projects in the pipeline for the Northeast and potentially in the Gulf of Mexico. So there's opportunity that even after these projects are said and done, North Carolina still has an opportunity to support offshore wind industry in other parts of the state. So we're talking about a long-term economic impact. It's estimated, and I think this number has honestly gone up to above $109 billion, but there's an estimated $109 billion private sector investment in offshore wind by 2030, and $90 billion of that is in the manufacturing supply chain. And again, keep in mind that is where North Carolina has a great advantage, and that's where we have an opportunity to plug in. This cost-benefit analysis, I'm not going to go into it, but it talks about the job figures and the net economic impact from a hypothetical 2.6 gigawatt project. So I encourage you to look at that. It's also on our website. And with that being said, Offshore Wind for North Carolina is a campaign that is very near and dear to my heart that I help run in North Carolina. Again, my organization focuses on economic impact, but we understand that there are a lot of organizations, and a lot of them that were here today, North Carolina Coastal Federation, Sierra Club, Audubon Society, that care about offshore wind, but they don't necessarily have the capacity or bandwidth to work in that space every day. So we try to provide a platform for organizations to stay informed and stay up to date with what is going in the offshore wind space so they can make informed decisions and help represent their stakeholders as well. So if you're interested in that organization or that coalition, that information is on our table outside, and my contact information is here.